New York energy. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
This is the Ozone, season 2, we taking flight. New York on lock, every borough ignite. Giants, Jets, Knicks, Yanks, Mets, we the hype. Malik, Sauce, Jalen, Judge, Lindo, NY Life. MetLife thunder when malignant bars break the rail. Giants running routes, ops fall, we prevail. Sauce Gardner locked down, jet fuel in his stance. MetLife heat beam, Jets defenders advance. MSG vibrate when Jalen Brunson start to cook. Knicks light the garden, ops shook when he looked. Pinstripes roll, Aaron Judge send rockets over Bronx. Bombs drop, Yankees prime, real talk, no cons. City feel glow, Lindo make that leather sing. Met bats knock, Queens dreams gon' always ring. From the bridges to the streets, uptown blackout. Season 2, Ozone, NY Heat, no doubt. This is the Ozone. Season 2. New York, forever drills. Catch the vibe.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We're here. You guys have officially entered the Ozone. It's your boy Omar here. Brand new week, baby. We got more New York Knicks to talk about. Are we panicking? Are we panicking right now? Do we want Mike Brown out? Because it seems like it's getting that way if you go on Nick Twitter. You know what I mean? We got a classic World Series to discuss. I'm going to let you guys know how I felt about watching this World Series because, let's just be honest, I hated both teams. NFL has it changed? Are the Chiefs the team to beat? Is Lamar Jackson and the Ravens back in the fold? There's a lot to talk about in this episode. Is Joe Schoen, is Brian Daboll getting fired? Should they be fired? That's something to discuss. But you know who ain't never getting fired? It's the best co-host in the business, super producer Dave. Brother, it's a new week. You got the sleeves out. The guns are showing. How we feeling?
Brother, 7
Oh, man.
and 2.
You know what? I got a bone to pick with your boys because your boys did win. The New England Patriots did win. Crappy performance defensively. They got me 4 points.
I'm sorry about your fantasy team right now, brother,
Yeah,
but my
I'm getting
team
smoked.
is first place. And honestly, it's been a really long time since the Patriots have been in this kind of position, and it's a great feeling, and I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. It's been a very long week. They won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years.
I don't know, maybe if you get rid of your turf.
I don't know. We got to get rid of a lot of people. We're going to get into that. But, brother, we got to start off with the New York Knicks because now we're 2 weeks in, and fans already want guys unemployed. Let's get into y'all's This Week in Knicks.
This Week in Knicks.
All right, y'all, this is This Week in Knicks. This is where we cover our New York Knickerbockers. And the Knicks right now, as you guys know, they are, as of this recording, they will be 4-3. We record, obviously, you guys know we record Monday night. So right now the Knicks are leading 114-96 to Washington. So the Knicks will have a 4-3 record by the time this episode airs. And they will be playing Minnesota in 2 hours. But we want to talk about these last 2 weeks, brother, because Knicks fans, man, this is an interesting fan base, bro, because the Knicks go, obviously, we talked about it last week. They win the first 2 games, but then this recent week, they drop their 3 road games. They drop against Miami. They lose a bad one in Milwaukee. Then they lose one in Chicago. And after that Chicago loss where the Knicks go 2-3, brother, you got people wanting Mike Brown out. It's just crazy.
I get it, right? In the sense of, like, you don't want to see us lose 3 games in a row. Like, that's the last thing you want to see from the Knicks team after you've seen the season that we came off of last year, after you get rid of Tibbs and there's so much criticism about there, after you say that the core that we have intact is not needed to be changed, from many people who are saying that you have the camp of Knicks fans who are like, do whatever it takes to get Giannis. So whenever you have losses like that consecutively, everything's under a microscope already in New York, so you're going to have fans who overreact. Was it disappointing? Absolutely, because I didn't think we'd lose 3 in a row. But the Knicks came back over the weekend, got a win. As of right now, at the time of this recording, they're playing pretty solid as well. So things are going back on track. And if we go on next, if we're gonna go off of the social media takes, then we're gonna see that we're Jesus Christ, Finals champions. I was gonna say World Series champions.
Right.
Finals champions. After we hear what people have to say today, and I mean we're beating the Wizards, and anybody should beat the Wizards. But the fact of the matter is that I like to see the Knicks get back on track, and I'm happy about that. But tough week.
Look, Thibodeau's first 7 games in his first season, the Knicks went 4-3. That's his first season. That's the 2020, 2021 season. 21-22, the first 7 games, the Knicks were actually 5-2. But they missed the playoffs that year, right? That's 2021, 2022 season. And I'm going to keep going. 22-23, right? The Knicks went first 7. The Knicks went 3-4. This is a 22 year. 23-24, first 7 games. The Knicks went 3-4. Last year, 7 games. The Knicks went 3-4. Now I preface that because outside of the 2021-2022 season, the Knicks made the postseason. The last 2 years of Tibbs, they've won 50 games, 50 and 51. But you see those 7-game records, right, brother? It's 7 games. It's literally 7 games. And you guys are acting like these are games in March. Guys, it's a new coach. It's a new system. Like, there's going to be growing pains. It's a reason why this episode is titled Growing Pains. There's going to be growing pains. There are going to be games where, you know, the offense looks a little off. Obviously, like we've known, like maybe the biggest one that's probably had to adjust to this process is Cat. And if you look at it, Cat now dropped his first 30-point game against Washington on Monday. Things are going to get rolling. It's going to take time. People want to highlight, oh, well, this is a Tibbs sort of roster. This roster's not built for Mike Brown's system. Okay, I think that remains to be seen because we don't know. I think 20, 25 games is, I think, a great sample size of when you can really evaluate where this team is going and where this team is, brother. That's my opinion. But people want to highlight that, but people don't want to highlight how Mikel is playing. Mikel looks a lot more comfortable in this sort of flow and how this Knicks team is moving. Like I said, the only thing I wish that the Knicks will clean up a bit is I know they want to get things fast and they want to move in transition. However, I do think they sometimes get carried away where they're throwing it, you know, they're trying to get in transition, they're throwing it for outlet pass and the guys aren't even paying attention. My thing is it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And I think right now this 7-game homestand that they have, I think is the perfect time to get acclimated because they also have a lot of teams that are not necessarily good, that this is where you get your mojo going so that when you're playing the good teams, you're ready to rock and roll.
Brother, to comment also on another thing that I don't like the fast break 3. I'm really over it. I really am.
That's today's NBA.
Unfortunately. But, I want to see that from a Steph Curry. I don't want to see that from somebody who I know is probably going to hit maybe 40% of those. It deflates your team when you have a chance to take it to the basket and actually get secured points or more guaranteed points. Anyways, back to the task at hand. I do think that we have to play the season, like a little bit more. Like we just came out of October. The season started 2 weeks ago. Like, are we really ready to ship off Mike Brown because we just lost 3 games in a row? After going what you just said and telling us the record for the last couple of years, I think things are easy to just like be prisoners of the moment and just say like, we just almost made the finals and now we lost 3 games in a row, and you forget the process of how you got there anyways to begin that season. So definitely it's upsetting, but I definitely, I like where we were going. I like what we're seeing. I'm seeing my bench guys actually get minutes that count, that help them develop, that help them like to show us that we got guys that we don't have to trade for. Like that's what I want to see from Mike Brown, and we're getting that.
Yeah, you're looking at it here against the game in the Heat. You look at bench minutes. Gershon played 15, Landry 15, Jordan 15, Tyler Kolek 9. And I want to go over this because look at the Bucks. You could tell, like, this is what I'm saying, it's growing pains. You're finding out rotations. Josh Hart played 26, Clarkson 17, Hukporti 12, Tyler 11. And this is where Gershon didn't even play that game against Milwaukee. And then the first game against Chicago, you look at the bench minutes. Deuce came back. Deuce played 29. George 15. Landry 14. 12 from Jordan. 4 from Tyler. 3 from Gershon. And then you look at the second game with the Bulls where you look at the minutes. Hold on. Just give me 1 second, guys. Hart played 26. 23 from Deuce. 18 from Landry. Jordan Clarkson 17. And Gershon played less than 2 minutes. He's finding out rotations. This is going to take time. You mentioned it with the bench. Jordan Clarkson has looked good the last couple games. Landry Shamet has looked good. Landry Shamet actually started against Washington with Mitch not playing in the back-to-back. So you're gonna see rotations. You're gonna see. I think Tyler Kolek, unfortunately for him, I think now Tyler Kolek has kind of moved back in the bench in that rotation now. Which kind of sucks because Tyler Kolek was getting the minutes in the beginning, but you do notice that okay, he does play well. He has stints when he plays well, but then defensively he's a liability. I think Mike Brown is gonna know okay, this is certain lineups that I can't have, certain lineups that I can have, and that's part of the process. Right now the Knicks sit 4-3, and the Knicks are in the middle of a 7-game homestand, which they're already 2-0 against. And I'm going to be honest, brother, they got a very good chance in maybe cleaning sweep this homestand because they have Minnesota tonight that's going to be without Anthony Edwards. They're going to have Brooklyn Nets on Sunday. As of this recording, they're 0-7. You got Memphis that's already kind of a train wreck with the John Morant thing. And then you have Orlando and Miami. And I think what Orlando is still another team that's trying to get themselves going with the acquisition of Desmond Bane. This is going to take time. The problem that I have is that these Knicks fans overreacting is that you got, they turned on Josh Hart in that Chicago game, the first Chicago game. They want Josh Hart out, and I get it, Josh Hart hasn't been playing well. But you got to keep in mind that Josh Hart also missed, let's basically say, the entire preseason because he hurt himself in the beginning minutes of that first game with his back. So we don't know how often Josh Hart was practicing. We already know he's dealing with the finger injury and the shooting hand. Josh Hart is an energy guy. And is Josh Hart going to shoot 40% from the three? No. You know what I mean? He's going to have some games, but it's like, bro, you know what Josh Hart's going to bring when he got it going. And he's going to have it more often than not. And I'm a little let down from Knicks fans that they turned on him. And then you have, with Cat. They're getting on Cat. Cat is dealing with what we talked about, a grade 2 quad sprain. Brother. So it's like, come on, the guy's dealing with, and now you're seeing the aggressiveness now. Cat even said it. He got in his own head in the Milwaukee game. He had a decent performance in Chicago, had a good performance against Chicago in the Garden, and then we saw a classic Cat game against Washington. It's going to take time, guys. We know what we're going to get with the captain. Anunoby's playing well. Mikal Bridges is playing well. And nobody's talking about that because, as you said, brother, everybody's a prisoner of the moment. And last time I checked, you don't win championships in October and in November. I would much rather have this team iron out the wrinkles now than us being February after the All-Star break and we're still dealing with these issues. I think this Knicks team is going to be fine. As Kendrick Perkins would say, brother, you got to keep a cool booty. Keep a cool booty.
I thought you were going to say Kendrick Lamar for a quick second. Just so left field from you. So left field from you. But, bro, at the end of the day, look, we're dealing with the new coach, which brings different strategies when we're going into games. We're not always going to have the same lineup. We're not having the Tibbs like I'm doing what I'm doing and that's it. We're playing my game. Right. So we're going to have different strategies against different teams. which means that when we have the postseason come up, well, we already know how we played them during the season. We have a different approach to go about it. Maybe something we saw with Tibbs in the postseason, a little bit of strategic, but maybe it was a little too late, and it was more so of I need to do this instead of like I can do this. You're gonna have to see how the Knicks adapt to Brown's offense. See how the pace is moving, the more ball movement that's going on. There's a lot of things that just need to play out, and this is why we go back to where we're saying, let the games play out a little bit more longer. If we're 20, 25 games in and we see that we are in a negative record, then I understand why anybody would be upset as a Knicks fan, like, yo, what is going on? Because this is not the team that we had hopes for coming into the season. I get that, but we're way too early into the season to be doing that.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, depending on the roster, Mike Brown is going to shift the lineup. He implemented Landry Shamet in the Milwaukee game. But then with Mitch now missing this game, I believe he played Landry Shamet. We saw he played Deuce. He started Deuce one game. He started Ariel. I think he started Ariel Hukporty. He started Ariel Hukporty. I believe it was a Milwaukee game. No, the Miami game. He started Ariel Hukporty at the Miami game. He started Landry Shamet in Milwaukee. So he's going to maneuver and finesse it. That's part of finding players who he can trust, who he can rely on. As you can see, 7 games in, he trusts Landry Shamet off the bench. And I want to talk more of the bench, brother, because we know what the starters are. We know Brunson, Mikal, Cat, OG, they're going to get theirs. I think with Josh Hart, it was more of the game in Chicago. He saw that he just didn't have it. But since then, Josh Hart has played 29 minutes plus. He trusts his Deuce, Landry, Jordan Clarkson. I think Yabusele still, we need to find that out. Although he played them less than 2 minutes, I believe he played him a little longer in this Washington game. I'm trying to check because right now Basketball Reference hasn't updated the game yet, so I'm pretty sure he played a little bit more, and they don't have a box score. Maybe I should check ESPN. But he's going to work out those lineups. I think Ariel Hukporty is going to be an option when Mitch is out. Obviously, we know Mitch is not going to see back-to-back. He's not going to play both games of a back-to-back. I'm looking at the box score right now, and Gershon played 14 minutes.
14 minutes?
He played 14 minutes. Clarkson played 21. Hart played 26. Deuce played 14. And look at the minutes. But look, we're not getting the Tibbs minutes. 32 from Anunoby. Cat played 30. Mikal 29. 25 for Landry. Brunson 32. Mikal Bridges played 29 minutes. Hey, I don't think Mikal averaged less than 38 last year with Tibbs. So it's like you gotta give it a run. And I think at the end of the day, we know that because we've seen glimpses of it even when they lost in that Milwaukee game. That second quarter, when you saw it even in the Chicago game, when this team is the team is getting the looks. The offense told you the offense is working. The teams are getting the look. Once they be able to knock those looks down on a consistent level, the Knicks are going to be blowing out, a lot of teams. A lot of teams. I have no doubt in my mind that when it's all said and done, brother, the Knicks will be the number 1 seed. The Knicks will be in the top 10 in offensive scoring. I would like to see their defense to improve, but much like we said with their offense, it's going to take time to adjust.
But brother, let me ask you something real quick while you make your predictions of what you think. Don't you think also that if the offense is gelling, if the guys get it together, that also gets their mind off of that and defense can improve? Like 100%. They know what they're doing.
100%.
Your mind isn't on the last offensive play anymore. You're now like, I'm locked in what I have to do right now because I already know that my team and what we want to do on the next possession and what we got going on from there. Or I already know what's going to happen if I see Mikal going up the court. I already know what we're going to do. Like, that's the kind of things that's going to happen under a new regime, under a new coach.
100%. And before we wrap up, let's get into the Knicks schedule ahead. As we touched on, the Knicks are playing Minnesota tonight. And then this weekend Knicks, I guess we can say it.
This weekend Knicks?
This weekend Knicks. The Knicks do have Minnesota, and then they have Brooklyn on Sunday. Winnable games. Obviously, Minnesota's going to be tough. They still got ballers. This is not okay, just because they got Ant Edwards, it's an automatic win. They still going to have Julius Randle, and that's actually Kiff night. Kiff night is tonight, brother. So, I did get the Madison Square Garden, the New Balance 993s. I did get them.
I saw.
Brother, put a picture up on them. Dave is going to put up both colorways. I got the white one. But Kiff night, and brother, I'm so happy that Kiff finally made a Patrick Ewing shirt. It only took 6 damn years, but it's finally happened, brother.
And you copped?
Well, as of this recording, yes, I would probably have it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be confident to say that I will have it at least ordered. Obviously, it would have not been shipped yet, but I'll have it, and maybe I should be wearing it by the next episode. Maybe. Let's see. But it is Kiff night tonight at Madison Square Garden, which is crazy. They're not wearing their city jerseys that's designed by Kiff. They're not wearing it until I believe it's next week. So that's interesting that you have Kiff night, but yet you're not wearing the jersey that's designed by Kiff.
Is that the cream jerseys, by the way, or is that the black ones?
That's the white ones. The black ones is the statement jerseys, which I believe they might be wearing it Sunday against Brooklyn.
Is it white? I could have swore they look cream, or it was probably the filter.
Honestly, the statement jerseys is black.
Yeah.
So remember, there's a difference. It's a statement and the city.
Yeah. So the city one.
Which is funny because the statement looks more like the city because they have the piping on the side of like MSG, like the lights like of Madison Square Garden. So that's the statement jersey, which replaced the navy blue and orange jersey they used to wear last year. So I guess Nike has a rule where the statement jerseys only last, I think, 4 years. You can only have the statement jersey for 4 years, or you're allowed to change it 4 years. I don't know. It's some stupid rule. And then you have the city jerseys that looks a lot like the Latrell Sprewell jerseys back in the day, like that team, like. I believe they started making that jersey from like 97 to 2002, like that jersey. But it has a lot of resemblance to the city jersey last year. So they will be wearing those. So, like I said, brother, I think it's 2 winnable games. I think that right now the Knicks stand at 4-3. The Knicks could be 6-3 by the end of the week. So let's do that. But you know who I wish was 6-3, and they're not. They're 2-7. Is my New York Giants. Let's get into it. This is the Big Blue Breakdown. Look, they're so bad I'm forgetting the damn name of the segment. Let's roll it, brother.
All hail the New York Giants!
All right, y'all, this is the Big Blue Breakdown. This is where we discuss the New York Football Giants. And, what can we say? Another loss to the San Francisco 49ers that I actually thought the Giants would beat them. Right now it's an injury-ridden 49ers team. Mac Jones is their quarterback. They're missing key receivers, key defensive players, and that didn't make a difference when it came to playing the Giants. They won 34-24. The game actually looked promising in the beginning. Jackson Dart, opening drive touchdown. Dart had yet another good game. 24-33 from on the field, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, rush for 1, pass for 1. But brother, that's pretty much the only thing, because this Giants offense, who's he throwing the ball to, man? It's you're excited as a Giants fan. As I said, I'm excited, and I think that's what's helping me progress through this season, is that we finally got our guy. We finally got our quarterback since Eli Manning has retired. That Jackson Dart is the real deal, because you look at what he's able to do with who he's working with. Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy, Ray McCloud. Like, these guys, like, they can't get open. They can't get open. And the fact that he's able to do what he got to do. He's been sacked 12 times. He was rushed. He was pressured 12 times, sacked twice. I guess that's the only thing you can look at when it comes to, because I don't want to even get started on the defense. The defense allowed 34 points. Outside of Brian Burns, who's been phenomenal, this defense has not been as advertised. It's not what I thought it would be when we opened season 2, and I was getting hyped about this Giants defense and what this Giants defense can do, and we just haven't seen it. I understand why Dexter Lawrence was called out by Carl Banks, because outside of that one play where he made highlight of the week, where he got the interception on Justin Herbert, what has Dexter Lawrence done since? You know what I mean? The secondary is depleted, which not saying much because they weren't good when they were healthy. And, this was a stat that I had, brother, and I saved it because this is pathetic. This is really pathetic, brother. Dexter Lawrence, and I'm going to play a game with you, brother, because I want you to guess this. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, combined in the 9 games that the Giants have played, how many sacks you think they have combined, those 3 guys?
I want to say under 10.
All right, under 10. Okay, but be specific. What number? Under 10, what number?
Let's say 7.
Half of that. 3.5. 3.5 sacks, bro, between Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter. And this was supposed to be murderer's row defensive line between Burns, Dexter, Sexy Dexy. I'm calling you Dexter now. You don't even deserve for me to call you Sexy Dexy. You're Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter. 3.5 damn sacks. Brian Burns is the only one making a difference on the defensive side of the ball. This Giants team is pathetic. They get the fumble and you don't even score. Because you know why? Because Jackson Dart ain't got nobody to throw it to. And then you got old ass Graham Gano, which his ass should have been off the team years before, missing a kick, and you settle for no points. No points. And at the end of the day, this falls on Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. And I know I've been on this podcast and I've said that I think Dart has saved their job one year. But the more I'm watching Dart, brother, I think he's going to be fine with any coach and any GM that comes in. I don't think Dart needs Brian Daboll to develop to the star that we think he's capable of becoming. I think we can bring in another regime to do that.
I think you guys hit the reset button after this year, or you should at least, because the point is that, like, you already know you got the franchise guy. The franchise guy is the franchise guy. The GMs can be replaced easily. Apparently, the Dolphins can do it and get rid of their GM and not the coach. GMs are replaceable just as much as a coach. There's so many other things that need to be addressed. You would think by now, at the time of this recording, tomorrow's the trade deadline at 4 p.m. As of now,
I bet you money the Ozone ain't making no damn videos because we ain't going to do nothing.
Right. So the thing that you should have done by this point is get that receiver so that, like I said before, you don't have to worry about it in the offseason. Like it's so many things that just needs to go right for this team, and you guys are not doing it. And it feels like Joe Schoen is literally sitting on his hands. He's not making any phone calls. He's not doing anything to help out his team. And Daboll, I'm sorry, you were just one of those guys who just got lucky. Lightning struck the bottle, or whatever the hell the saying is at this point, because I can't even come up with the thing. And I don't care that I curse, because at this point, it's upsetting for me vicariously living through you. Yeah, I'll bleep it. I'm vicariously living through you as far as like how I feel about the Giants fans, because
your team's in first place.
No. I get it, but there is promise there. That's the problem that I'm having. That gets me upset with the Giants. Like, there is promise that could have been there, and you guys, like, it just seems like this team, like the management is just sitting on their hands, and you're not taking the plays to make a guy. I get it. It's his first year. I don't expect him to go to the playoffs. Did the window open because of other things going on in your division? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that you just like, well, you know what? Let's see if he rides out the year and keeps on progressing. Like, let's see what else we can do to get this guy even better. Let's make our guy, like, get that confidence up. So when he comes into next year and he knows that, hey, Malik is coming back. Hey, we're going to have Scatterbo also potentially coming back. We have things going right. There's nothing going right for this team. And I think this is the time that you say, let's go and hit the reset button. And I really hope that everything, like, wrap this man in saran wrap or something. Oh, my God.
Dave
in bubble wrap.
Dave is gonna post a picture of what someone flew a banner over MetLife on Sunday that read, "Mr. Mara, enough is enough, clean house," and I believe that should be the case. I'm gonna read you a little stat, brother. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, this was their record together. Obviously, they're 2-7 this year. They're 3-18 in the last 21 games. 5-21 in the last 26 games. They're 5-17-1 in the NFC East. So you can't even beat teams in your division. And then your two most hated rivals, which is the Eagles and the Cowboys, you have a combined record of 2-14. Brian Daboll's record is 20-39-1 in 4 regular seasons. And especially when we live in a world where it's, what have you done for me lately? How many times are we going to rest on the morals that Brian Daboll won 1 playoff game? How embarrassing of a franchise we are that this is what's holding. Well, at least he's won a playoff game. This is why we got to keep him. This is what Tom Coughlin won a Super Bowl and we wanted him out. Then Tom Coughlin won another Super Bowl and then we wanted him out. Where did the standard change?
He made it cool to be fat again.
Yeah, he gained some LBs, but that hasn't. I guess for every 10 pounds he gains, we win a game. Maybe, I don't know. But clearly, fat coaches that get skinny it doesn't pan out in New York. We've seen it with the other team. I think that the Giants have gotten away with bad management because of the Jets are so horrendous. Let's just be honest. Because if the Giants were the only solely team in New York, because I don't count Buffalo because you wanna rep Toronto, you're Canadian. I don't care what Buffalo fan gets tight, you're Canadians. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I love Drake and Bret Hart, but you're Canadians. But if it wasn't for the Jets, the Giants would be the laughingstock, and they should be part of that because this is horrendous. You would much rather try to develop another project than to go out and make the necessary trade and get a Jalen Waddle. Bring in a young wide receiver that's under contract. If you got to give up a certain amount of picks, whatever, do it. Get the best players around your quarterback, especially that he's on rookie deals. Especially because you don't have to pay Malik Neighbors right at this moment. Why not get on the call and call Miami? Why not get on the horn and call New Orleans? But no, as you said, brother, he's sitting with his hands on his butt, not doing anything. And when does it get to the point where, you know what? Maybe these guys were successful in Buffalo because they had a guy named Josh Allen. Because the last time I checked, Buffalo's doing quite well since them guys left.
Brother, before we move, I know the schedule's coming up as far as looking up or at least looking ahead. I have something to address, and it's more so. I'm going to bring it up now because we don't have a segment for the Jets, and it's basically it brings in the Giants as well. Mm-hmm. I have a bone to pick with the ownership of MetLife Stadium, and I just found out because I had to do my research going into this. It is not Mara or Woody Johnson. The owners of MetLife Stadium is the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority. Go figure, right? The New York teams in New Jersey. Anyways, brother, I'm going to read off a list of players who've been hurt since 2020 at MetLife Stadium's turf. Yeah. Nick Bosa, ACL tear. Solomon Thomas, ACL tear. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Garoppolo, ankle sprain. Raheem Mostert, MCL tear. Sterling Shepard, Achilles tear. Sterling Shepard, ACL tear. Wan'Dale Robinson, ACL tear. Blake Martinez, Achilles tear. Shane LeMoneau, Patella tendon tear. Jabril Peppers, ACL tear. Kyle Fuller, ACL tear. Aaron Rodgers, Achilles tear. Al Woods, Achilles tear. Jalen Phillips, Achilles tear. Andrew Thomas, Lindsprack injury. Malik Neighbors, feared ACL tear. We already know at this time that I guess this report's a little old, but Malik Neighbors, ACL tear. And then also, yesterday was another injury to the 49ers player as well on defense, their edge rusher, who we fear is an ACL tear. I'm sorry, but this is a common injury. This is way too common of an injury on the same field. And I don't know who needs to get involved at this point. I don't know if the NFL needs to talk to the people who own MetLife Stadium. I don't know if something needs to be done, because at the end of the day, this is a bad look. And Kittle did a great job at calling it the butt of the joke as far as the MetLife Stadium. But I mean, it has to be called out. These are players that people are investing. These owners, these teams, fans are investing to see. And they're unfortunately seeing that every time we go out there, there's a chance of somebody going out for not just a few games, but for the year, and maybe potentially ruining their career.
Yeah, I think Odell Beckham also tore his ACL.
There we go. So something's got to give, and that's.
Well, yeah, we spoke about it weeks ago. They're being cheap. Obviously, we know that it's much cheaper to preserve turf than grass.
Yep.
And we spoke about it. I think stadiums like I know the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the people at MetLife, they try to make it seem like, oh, it's the weather, and Pittsburgh has grass. They preserve it quite well. And last time I checked, Pittsburgh is not Miami.
It rains in England half of the year, or not. Right. They have great soccer fields.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, brother. They're changing the grass for the FIFA World Cup that's going to be played in MetLife. So that'll tell you they know that turf is horrendous.
So this is why I feel the NFL needs to step in.
Right. They're making the swap for FIFA. Why not do it for your own damn team that you're investing dollars into? Well, you know, you got the fans wearing paper bags. It is what it is. They got the Bears, and I know I'm going to jump the gun on NFL picks of the week. They ain't winning that game. So I guess it'll be another rant about the Giants next week. Like I said, Giants fans, to stay positive, to stay at least optimistic about this season, is that we get to see Jackson Dart. Knock on wood, because the way this team is playing, this kid might get hurt because he's gonna have to scramble for his life because guys can't get open for him. But brother, let's pivot, because we got another New York team to talk about, and they play basketball, I think, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. This is we ain't even got a segment for this team. The Nets are 0-7. Let's move on. Let's get into it. Water cooler talk. Dave made me do that, by the way, Brooklyn Nets fans. Water cooler talk. All right, y'all, this is Water Cooler Talk. This is where we gather around the water cooler and we talk about what's going on in sports around the world. And, brother, we got a World Series to talk about, because it was a good one. The Dodgers go back-to-back. They're the first team since the New York Yankees in 2000 to go back-to-back, which tells you the parity of winners that MLB got. MLB has done a great job in making sure the balance of competition. Obviously, we do know we've had some teams that won multiple, but they haven't won back-to-back, like the Giants. They've won 3 titles, but they've won it every other year. You got teams like Houston that they've won multiple championships. The Red Sox, however, they never won them back-to-back. So kudos to the Dodgers winning, and it pains me to say that, but they did win a good series against the Toronto Blue Jays, brother. Did you get a chance to check out any of those games?
I checked out a few, and at the end of the day, kudos to the Dodgers. 3 championships in 5 years. Or 6 years? 2020.
Well, I'll tell you this, now, teams, a lot of people try to knock on them with the whole bubble thing like they do with the Lakers, but they've won 2 since. So, you know what I mean? Like,
sure. So
kudos to them. When you're paying people on through a firm, you can bring a lot of players in. When you're playing, you're making 12 easy payments. You can easily, bring in the best players. I think Blake Snell said it. Oh, if you can't beat them, join them. So, you know what I mean? Like, Right now, the Dodgers are looked at what the Yankees were looked at in the 90s. Like, that when I heard Blake Snell say that, I'm like, that's what people wanted to join the Yankees. Because it's like, bro, we can't beat them. We might as well join them. I think this was a good series. I think baseball worked. I think baseball looked very good because you had the standard, and it pains me to say this, but you had the standard of the Dodgers. Whether you want to say their fans are front runners or whatever, they're the standard right now. They're the champions. And then you have the Toronto Blue Jays, whom they haven't made the World Series since 1993, which they won on the Joe Carter walk-off. But you had that fan base that was hungry. They were amped up from the first pitch in every game. And, you know, now the discussion about this series, brother, is being talked about is, was this the best World Series we've seen? Now, just like you, brother, I didn't watch all the games. I'm going to be honest. As a better Yankee fan, it was very painful for me to watch the series. It was. Because it's a team that beat us in our division that talked a lot of crap about us. And then there's a team that beat us last year in the World Series that talked a lot of crap about us in the offseason. So it was really difficult. I actually found myself rooting one game, like cheering for the Blue Jays, and I caught myself, I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And then I started thinking of the Kike Hernandez comments in the offseason. But then I was watching Game 7, which was a classic game, extra innings. I just started thinking in my head, brother, you know what was popping up in my head as I was watching this game? The Yankees lose! The Yankees lose! Yeah. Of David Ortiz and Vladdy going, the Yankees lose! The Yankees! Oh, and I said, you know what? Let's go Dodgers. And to see Vladdy cry like a big old baby, as Stano said, that put a smile on my face.
For me, it was more so I had the voice of a dear friend who passed away a few years ago, Fridge. And I remember him getting upset at Giants fans rooting for Eagles fans in the Super Bowl, and why you're rooting for your rival. And that literally was in the back of my head. I'm just like, you know what? Yeah. I may not like that we lost to the Dodgers, but I definitely can't root for the Blue Jays. I just can't.
Yeah. That's what my mom was saying. My mom said this. Like, yo, I'm not rooting for them. They beat us. Like
that too. Not only were they our rivals, or one of our rivals.
Yeah, they beat us. Yeah.
Yeah, can't do it.
No, yeah, and I get it. And it was a good series. It was what was it? Game 3 that went 18 innings. A classic game. The games were back and forth. Really, I think outside of really Game 4, that was, where it seemed pretty one-sided. Then the Dodgers, hey, look, man, they did what champions do. They down 3-2. They go into Toronto. Yamamoto pitches a phenomenal Game 6. And then they find ways to win in Game 7. And Yamamoto wins the World Series MVP. I believe he's the 12th pitcher. Mind you, the World Series has been around for 100 years. I think he's like the 12th, maybe 12th or 13th pitcher. I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I really don't feel like looking it up. But he's the 12th or 13th pitcher to actually win 3 games in the World Series. He was phenomenal. He did what aces do. He took the ball in Game 6. Next day, Game 7 is like, bro, look, let's do it. Like, I can pitch 2 innings. It reminded me very much of what Randy Johnson did against the Yankees in 2001, where he pitched, I believe he pitched the complete game against us in Game 6, and then he went on to pitch 2 innings in Game 7. So shout out to the Dodgers. Obviously, Toronto had a lot of moments where they could have won. Obviously, the fly ball that was hit by Clement, where Kike Hernandez was saved by Andy Pajes at center field. I don't know why Kike was playing in with 2 outs and bases loaded. You wasn't going to get him. Obviously, there's a lot of plays. Maybe former Yankee Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, maybe he could have jumped on the ball. I don't know why he hesitated when it was hit. Bases loaded, he could have won the game. A lot of breaks. I think these are a series, brother, when you're the loser, you think about this is going to be stuck with you for, it could be forever, because you don't know when you're ever going to get that opportunity. And I might sound like a hater or a bitter Yankee fan, but I think this was Toronto's moment. I don't think Toronto this is sustainable. Obviously, their pitching is old. Shane Bieber, Matt Scherzer. Like, yes, they have. Oh man, the rookie that pitched phenomenal, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But then, Kevin Gosman's getting a year older. Their bullpen wasn't that good. Their bullpen played good this year. You don't know where Bo Bichette is going to be. He's a free agent. Do they pay him? I don't know. Does he even play for the Yankees? That might be an option, brother. That might be somebody we'll be talking about as free agent looms more on the Ozone. So it was a good series. I don't know. It wasn't the greatest World Series I've seen. I'm biased. Although the Yankees lost, I still think the 2001 World Series is the greatest World Series I've ever seen. What about you, brother? Is that up there? Because I don't know. Or
I don't know.
Care? Like,
I don't know if I care. Right? I don't care. I don't know if I care. But I have some hairline. I have some hair. Jesus Christ! I am off to brother. I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be in my office at 7:30. So I'm pooped.
Yeah, just for a little inside baseball, Dave and I were talking throughout the day, and Dave did mention that. Yeah.
So some headlines to bring up as far as this World Series is concerned. From analyst Tim Kirkland, and he knows his baseball. He knows his baseball. No question, greatest World Series ever. That was his headline.
It's hard to argue that. Like, it's it's subjective, but it's hard to argue that.
Another key stat. Game 3 went 18 innings, is tied for the longest in World Series history. Another thing. Game 7 drew 26 million viewers, and if I'm not mistaken, this is probably one of the highest rated baseball games ever as far as, in the modern baseball era. So you bring in all the LA fans, you bring in all the fans of Shohei Ohtani overseas, a country
in Toronto.
And then you have another country in Canada, and then you have baseball fans in the U.S. and across the world. So this is definitely a number that baseball wants to see and populate the sport and everything, because you and I can at least agree that baseball is not the most popular sport as it is right now compared to the hype that is football and basketball at this current moment. But this is what you want to see. If you're the MLB, this is what you want to see. So
100%.
Let's see if it does anything. I mean, we definitely want to see some contrast in our champions going forward, and seeing some other teams having a chance. But we'll see.
Kudos to the NFL. To the NFL, to the MLB. But also kudos to the NFL, because the NFL on Sunday had the big matchup, brother. They had the Bills and the Chiefs, and that was a big game. You could tell the way they did the schedule. They really didn't want any real competition to clash with the Chiefs and Bills, and it lived up to the billing. The Bills played well. I thought they did a great job in really maintaining, getting a lot of pressure on Mahomes. It seems like Mahomes was running out that pocket numerous times. He actually got a couple intentional groundings, and that was just more of a sign of the defensive pressure that the Bills were able to display. And then, the offense, Cook ran the ball well. Kincaid had a monster game. Allen has a lot of success against the Chiefs in the season. The only problem is it never translates to the postseason. Sometimes it's not his doing. Sometimes it's just the flip of a coin. You know what I mean? But I thought the Bills looked very good. Obviously, they have to maintain their winning to stay with you guys, because you guys continue to win. And it was a good game. I liked that game. What did you see in the Bills and Chiefs game?
I like, as far as for the Bills offense, I did like seeing that Josh Allen was able to get it done with more than just Kincaid, and his other tight ends were being involved. Unfortunately for the Bills, I do, and this is more so just like as somebody who is a Josh Allen fantasy football owner, I would like to see another wide receiver on that team so he can get the ball out to someone else besides, Kincaid.
I think they're a team that need to really look at the deadline, and
because
they have to bring in somebody. And
I don't think Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir are not the guys. And I forgot who's the next guy. Palmer. I don't know if Palmer's hurt or anything, but they're not the guys. They're not the guys that's going to put Josh Allen over, especially once comes playoff time. The defense stepped up, which I felt like was the thing that I was harping on when we were going back and forth with our picks. I felt like the Bills would step up at least in this game, and the Chiefs. You have everything right. It wasn't like it was a blowout game. They lost within 7 points, if I'm not mistaken.
28-21, I believe the score was.
So the
Chiefs had the ball with an opportunity to tie it.
Right, and they still are looking good. So I think this is a good thing
Yeah.
to. As for like, it's not a moral victory because I feel like the Chiefs. You feel like a win is what you need at the end of the day. But it definitely shows you that the Chiefs are still the people to beat in
Yeah.
this
But right
in
now
the
they're looking
AFC.
out of a. Right now, I know it's early, but they're looking out of a playoff position because right now Denver's 7-2. I think LA is 6-4. So right now, they're looking out of a playoff spot. But yeah, I think they'll
Yeah,
be. In
I
good
think
shape.
both of
think
these
they'll be
teams are.
fine.
Both of these teams are
Yeah.
looking at their playoff spots because
Yeah.
as of right now, the Patriots at least have a favorable schedule to maintain that lead that they
Yeah,
have
you
over
guys
the
got
Bills
a really
too.
good schedule. I'm not gonna lie, you guys got a very favorable schedule. But the team I'm looking at now, before we pivot to the NFC, and I know I wrote it a little different. I wrote it a little off topic on the script, is Lamar Jackson. And yes, we talked about this during the ozone. When you want to get right, you play the Dolphins. Like, I hate to say it. I got a couple boys that are Dolphin fans, and this is no shade. I think they would agree with it. When you want to get right, you play the Dolphins. I know I counted Baltimore out, but looking at the landscape of the NFC North, how Pittsburgh, although they had a big win against Indianapolis, I want to highlight that. I want to highlight that and give them their credit. But if you've watched the Steelers, nothing about them scares you. Nothing. So I look at Baltimore and I go, Lamar looked healthy. He looked healthy, for one. Derrick Henry ran the ball strong. Mark Andrews looks good. You already know what you got with Zay Flowers. This is a team that I'm like, okay, maybe I counted them out prematurely. I think they still got a shot to win this division, brother.
I mean, they still have a shot. I mean, like the Steelers are the only competition that they have ahead of them. The Bengals and Browns are still the Bengals and Browns, especially with like Flacco's playing great, right? Flacco's playing great.
Though, oh my God, the game
Fla-
they're losing though, bro.
Flacco's playing great.
Oh,
but
man.
unfortunately, they have something on the other side of the team that is called the defense that doesn't know how to stop
Yep.
anybody. So I don't think that right now the Ravens have to worry about that. The only obstacle in their way right now is, besides winning these games, is the Steelers. And I don't think the Steelers can maintain that. Will I eat crow? I don't know, because I called the Steelers to lose this last game and they showed up. So nobody knows anything. I think the Ravens have a chance to get it going because at the end of the day, you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Like, as long as those two guys are there, you have a chance.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to find their schedule now. Looking at their schedule. Hold on. Yeah, because I don't even think, have they played Pittsburgh yet? So they still have 2 meetings with the Steelers. Yeah, they haven't even played the Steelers yet. So, and you look at their schedule, they got, as I would say, brother, they got an opportunity to get fat. They got Minnesota, Cleveland, the Jets, and the Bengals before they meet the Steelers. And right now, there are 2 games behind Pittsburgh. They have a realistic shot in winning this because they have Cincinnati, Chicago, and Buffalo. They're 3 games before they meet the Ravens. And the way the Bears are playing and the way the Bills are playing, they can easily go 1-2 while the Ravens can go 3-0, even they go 2-1. And right there, that meeting right there in itself against Pittsburgh, they'll be 1 game out. So they got a realistic shot in catching the Steelers. Before we end water cooler talk and get to picks of the week, I do want to pivot to another team that plays in the North, and that's the NFC North. And that's the team that I picked, that I changed my original pick for this team. And I'm gonna be honest, brother. I know you've mentioned it, and you're looking smarter and smarter by the week as this team plays. Because the Green Bay Packers lost a tough one to a feisty Carolina team. I want to give Carolina their credit, but this was a very bad loss for a team that's supposed to be contending for a Super Bowl. How do you lose to a Panthers team that was basically embarrassed 2 weeks in a row at home, it's unbelievable. And you're supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, and you're laying. And I get it, you only got 2 losses, but they're very bad losses to teams that their offense is barely competent. Like I want to change my pick, but then I don't want to make now another second change. But it's like, geez, like you put up 13 points to the Panthers at home, and then you want me to believe that things are going to get better next week against the Eagles? I don't know about that.
Brother, and you know what? Like, I think you put it in the, like, highlight of all of this. Not the highlight of the week, but
No.
the highlight is
No.
the stupid interception by Jordan Love. Like,
Bro, there was a play. Bro, we were
In the
watching
end
that.
zone.
I had some people over. This man, it's like this. We like, yo, who's he pointing it to? And he throws the ball. It's the damn cornerback from the other team.
in the end zone, on top of that. And it's just like,
Oh, my God.
like, this is one of those things that, like, just, like, I don't know, that the offense just, like, feel like, you know what, we're playing the Panthers, let's party it up because we don't have to worry about them. Like, I don't know what happened, but they definitely didn't show up. You held them to the points you held them to, but at the end of the day, you lost, and you shouldn't
We know
have
the
lost.
defense is there. We know the defense is going to be there. I think is what you said, brother. And you mentioned this weeks ago, even when I made my pick. You said, can you win with Jordan Love along those lines? Like, is he the guy to push him over? And does he even have the weapons to do so? And the more I look at games like that, and if you're having those mental laps, as you're, you're kind of insinuating, I don't know if you're a championship winning team then. Because I don't think your offense is good enough to be like, all right, let's turn it on. I don't think you're that. So if you have those little mental laps, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not trusting you in the playoffs. And then you're kind of lucky Detroit laid an egg this weekend. Because, especially in that division, especially with Detroit, it's going to be very difficult. Like, you don't have the luxury of losing a game or two. We saw what happened to Minnesota when Minnesota had an unbelievable year last year. And what happened? They ended up becoming a wild card team, and they got bumped in the first round. So, Green Bay, if they lose horribly to Philly, I'm changing my pick, brother. I don't care.
I just have to say, like, at least for Green Bay's sake, like, it wasn't just them who lost on Sunday. Luckily, like, the Vikings helped them out and did them a favor. But at least Detroit actually knows who their weapons are. The only consistent on the Packers is Josh Jacobs. Yeah. That's it. Not even Jordan Love anymore, who I felt like was an MVP quality type of player, or at least could be. The only consistent there is Josh Jacobs. So I would hope that for your pick, before you make the change, that they are able to correct the ship and get it going, because at the end of the day, I don't know why you lost against the Panthers. You were 13.5 and a half favorites?
They were 13 and a half favorites to win. Yep, favorites.
Oh, man. Shout out to whoever bet that.
I don't even think real Carolina fans betted on that, I'll be honest. Let's be quiet.
You gotta be a sicko.
Yeah, you gotta, for real. But let's pivot, y'all. We gotta make some picks to make. I'm down. I'm looking like the New York Giants right now, picks of the week. But this can change this week. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, this is NFL Picks of the Week. This is where Dave and I are going to predict the winners and the losers as we head into Week 10. Brother, let's start with the first matchup. We got the Thursday night game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders against the Denver Broncos. Our division game, always tough, but I think Vegas is trash, although Bowers had a monster game. But at Denver, against Denver, 7-2, I'm rocking with Denver.
Yeah, I don't think they could deal with that altitude. So the Raiders lose and Broncos win.
Yep. Then we back to the Germany games, which I like. I don't hate morning football, brother. I love it. We got the Atlanta Falcons against the Indianapolis Colts. Both teams are coming from some tough losses. I'm just going to go with the better football team here, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. I got Colts.
The most consistent team known as the
They're
Atlanta Falcons.
consistently inconsistent. Well said, brother.
I will not be going with them. I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, bro. But you know what's funny? We'll pick against Atlanta, and then they go drop a 38 spot on them, and then win the game. Because that's what's been happening. Then we're gonna head to the Sunday games. We got the Giants and the Bears. I kind of touched on it on a Big Blue Breakdown. I don't think we're winning this game. I'm going Bears.
Yeah, Bears at home, and the way that Caleb Williams was playing this past weekend, I have no reason to feel that the Giants' defense will stop them.
Nah, same. Then we got Buffalo and Miami. Josh Allen just plays phenomenal. I think this will be the game. I hope I don't mean this in any wrongful way, but this will be the game where Tua catches a concussion because he seems like he gets a concussion every time he plays Buffalo in Miami. So I'm going with Buffalo.
Yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills will be eating some nice tuna this weekend. And sorry, Dolphin fans.
Yeah, and and Bills Mafia travels really well down here in Miami. It's almost like when the Knicks play the Heat. It's very much Bills Mafia.
And we already know. Hold on, real quick. And we already know Tua likes to blame traveling fans. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, who knows what their team is going to look like Sunday with the deadline? Who knows? They already traded the defensive end to Philly.
Jaden Phillips. Yep.
Yeah. So who knows what their team is going to look like on Sunday? Either way, they're still going to lose. We got Baltimore, Minnesota. This is an interesting pick. As I touched on, I just raved about Baltimore on Water Cooler Talk. However, Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy did look good against a Super Bowl contending team in Detroit. This game's in Minnesota, but I'm going to go with this consistent quarterback, which is an MVP. I'm going to go with Lamar and the Ravens.
I've been going back and forth. When we were talking about picks of the week, I was going back and forth in my head about this one.
This was the game? This was the game
because I feel like the Vikings can surprise us, and I feel like the Ravens' defense and John Harbaugh, I'm confused between the two, but Harbaugh has made some questionable decisions as a coach. So on this one, I'm going to differ from you, and I'm going to go with the opposite team. So I will be going with the Vikings.
All right. I think this one... This next one is going to be interesting, too, and it's not in a good way. We got the Cleveland Browns playing the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Obviously, the Jets are coming off the high of their win in Cincinnati, and then they're coming off the bye. I'm going to go with Cleveland. I like their defense. I think their defense is going to be able to create some turnovers. Although Justin Fields, highlight to him, they haven't even thrown an interception yet. Do you know that? The Jets have not thrown an interception? They have not thrown an interception this year, but I think that will happen Sunday. I think Cleveland's defense is good enough. They've beaten some pretty good teams because of their defense. I think they'll be able to get it done against the Jets.
Have they caught an interception?
I don't think the Jets have thrown an interception. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields maybe hasn't thrown one when the defensive player dropped it, but I don't think Justin Fields has not thrown an interception this season. I could check.
I'm at the Jets defense. Have they caught one?
The Jets have been really struggling with creating turnovers. So
yeah. Either way, I got Cleveland. So 1-8.
Damn. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, no interceptions at all. And let's move on. And we got, this might be your toughest one, brother. New England and Tampa. I don't think I'm gonna start y'all defense on this one. I've been starting you guys for the last few weeks. I think the win streak starts, brother. I'm going with Tampa. I think. Although I know this is a little depleted Tampa Bay team, but I'm gonna go with Baker. I think they've been still making games close. They're at home, so I'm going to go with Baker.
I'm going to go with my team. And the reason being is that Drake May is playing so damn good at this point. I think he has like the most air yards ever since like the person coming into the league. I think like his first 2 years or something like that. I think that's the stat. And the guys have been looking good. Like he's making household names out of Keyshawn Booty and Pop Douglas. So I love it. And Stephon Diggs is actually performing, but he's not consistently doing like Chris Collinsworth does it. So I got Patriots in this one.
All right, so we differ there. And then we got New Orleans at Carolina. I'm going Carolina. They're the better team, and they got something going. They got something brewing, man. They might make the playoffs.
I think the Panthers eat some gumbo this weekend, so let's go Panthers.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we got Jacksonville and Houston. Division game. I'm going Jacksonville. I'm going Jacksonville. That's a tough one though. I know this guy got hurt. He got hit pretty hard on Sunday.
Stroud.
So who knows? I don't know if he'll be on concussive protocol. If he's on concussive protocol, I have no idea. But I feel comfortable with Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville.
Yeah. I think the next one is pretty easy. Arizona and Seattle. I am taking Seattle. Although Arizona looked quite well against Dallas, going Seattle.
I'm going with Seattle because Cardinals have lost a lot of games with leads this year, so I don't feel confident in them at all.
Yeah. And then we got the Rams and the Niners. Obviously, we touched on it. Although the Niners did beat the Giants, they had dealing with some injuries. And the Rams are clicking right now. They got Puka back. I believe Matthew Stafford is leading the league in touchdowns, which is quite surprising. I'm going Rams. I think they win a big one on the road.
Yeah, I got Rams in this one. The 49ers did get the win last week, but they were the benefactors of playing against the Giants. So.
Oh, damn. Why you got to do that, bro? That wasn't needed. That wasn't needed, bro. That wasn't needed. That's a shot, bro. That wasn't needed. You could have just said, I got the Rams, whatever. You said they bro, that was whack. Oh, man. This guy wins 6 games or whatever, and here we go. Damn, I did not see that coming. I was like, really, bro? You know what? This will help me sleep at night that we're that bad because this next team, the Washington Nationals. Washington Commanders are hosting the Lions. Unfortunately, Jalen Daniels got hurt. That looked pretty bad. His arm. Yo, you know what's funny? They said it was the same spot against the same team. Like of when RG3 hurt his knee. So they just got bad luck with quarterbacks, bro. Like just when they think they got it, something happens. It's been an injury plagued year all year for them. So I got Detroit. This is gonna be a blowout. I don't even think that game's gonna be watchable. I
got Detroit. They got Scary Terry. Apparently, they're talking about shutting him down, or at least he hasn't been performing to his standard.
I don't even know why would you play him. I wouldn't even play him to be honest. I'll sit the season out.
Yeah, and Daniels look like he's also going to be sitting the season out as well. So even if he is optimistically, they said 3 to 4 weeks, I would just shut him down. At the end of the day, you have to protect your future. There's nothing to play for at this point. Right. Even if you were to have a chance to make the playoffs, there's nothing to play for at this point. Shut it down, protect your quarterback, go into the draft and get somebody else to protect him.
Yeah, and then we got the Sunday night game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at L.A. against the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. I don't think Pittsburgh is. I don't think Pittsburgh will be able to beat them.
No, and Herbert is playing some of his best ball. So I definitely got Chargers in this one.
He's winning in life too. This past weekend they had that game on Thursday, and he was at. They showed that he was like at the Laker game Friday, something like that. Like Laker game Friday, Dodger game Saturday, Sunday he was like in some Halloween party or something. Right, he's winning in life. He's winning in life, and you can see it's translating on the field. He's happy personally. It's translating professionally. Then we got the Monday night game, which could be an NFC championship preview. Lambeau Field, we got Philly and we got Green Bay. Right now, Green Bay is a 2.5 favorite. But this is a tough one, bro. This is a tough one. Although I talked a lot of crap about Green Bay and water cooler talk, you know, does Green Bay lay another stinker? That's the question. Does Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love, yeah, Jordan. Does Jordan Love bounce back against Philly? And I think they do. I think what Philly does offensively, I think Green Bay's defense is good enough to kind of neutralize it a little bit. And Jordan Love is going to make the necessary plays. Obviously, you know, it's not guaranteed, but I think he will. I think at Lambeau, I'm going Green Bay.
In this game, I am going with... I'm going with the Eagles. Sorry, I'm still sticking with that. Like,
it's not a bad one. They're like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. You know, so guys, just to mention that the Bengals, Dallas, Tennessee, and the Chiefs are on a bye heading to this week. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully, I am creeping up on the scoreboard because it's I'm losing weeks now. We're getting to the, you know, we already surpassed the midway point of the NFL season and I'm behind. But brother, we're gonna wrap up this show pretty soon, and you know we cannot do that without sharing you guys the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. Highlight of the week is going out to Cincinnati Bengals superstar wide receiver, not Jamal Chase, but T. Higgins. As T. Higgins made a phenomenal catch, kind of Randy Moss, the Chicago Bears. He had a monster game. Unfortunately, his team didn't. But T. Higgins is having an outstanding season, although the Bengals aren't. But, like, he reached over. Like, mind you, the DB's in front of him, and the ball was overthrown, and Higgins just stretches out, basically lays over the DB's shoulders, like, all right, give me that. Take it to the house. T. Higgins, highlight of the week.
Brother, this was impressive. Like, I watch it again and again and again, and I'm just like, that looks straight out of Madden. That looks like a play that I would like want to toss my controller if I was the defender on that game, because 100%. It's like, how did he catch that? It was a great one. T. Higgins, congratulations to highlight of the week, because that was a monster catch.
T. Higgins, man, what a game that was, man. That's heartbreaking for the Bengals, but that was a great play for T. Higgins. But guys, you know that we're trying to get our subs up. We're trying to get to 200, y'all. Help us get there. And by doing that, you gotta tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure that you're following us on all our social media platforms, so then you know when an episode is airing of the Ozone, which is every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Guys, follow us. We're available on TikTok, Twitter, IG, Threads, and Reddit. Yes, your boy's now 3 for 3. The last 3 episodes, I've been getting it right. Guys, get us to 200. And this is where you guys follow us, right? Because this is where you're going to get all your information on the New York Knicks. The trade deadline is looming for the NFL season. So anything that happens when it comes to our Jets and Giants, we keep you guys updated, especially on TikTok. We're making the videos on TikTok. It's been very engaging on TikTok, especially after the comments of Amari Stoudemire and Melo. And it's just certain things, guys, that because Dave and I air weekly, there's some news that pops up in that in-between time where we're covering it. We might post a little video. We might make a post on our social media platforms. And then by the time Dave and I record, the story's no longer a headline. So if you guys want to hear our take on certain things that are happening in between episodes, it's very important that you follow us on those platforms. Because when the Amari news came out of what he said about Melo, we made a video about it, and it was very engaging on TikTok and on Instagram. So that's why it's very important to follow us, guys. And like I said, you hit the like button on this video, subscribe, do all that, and follow us on Twitter, guys. Dave don't you guys know that Dave has now have our Twitter accounts on top of us right there. So follow us on Twitter. Dave and I are very active when it comes to the Twitter community, especially when it comes to sports and that sort of thing.
At me, Jet fans. At me.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Like Jet fans, you're tired of Davis crap. At him and tell him how you really feel. All right, and everything. We're really engaging. We don't big league anybody here. We're not doing that.
Just keep it to sports.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
Shout out to KFTV. KFTV also reposted one of our clippings of our episode on their Instagram story too. So those owners all over the place, guys. So remember, tap in, y'all. Show some love, guys. Thank you, guys, that repost our Knicks scores, that repost all them things. Trust me, it's not being unseen. We appreciate the love and the support that you guys are doing. That's how you get us everywhere. So, guys, in between time, we tap in with you guys next Wednesday, 5 p.m., where we deliver another episode of The Fire. Peace.
From the bridges to the streets, uptown blackout, season 2, ozone, NY heat, no doubt. This is the ozone, season 2. New York, forever drills, catch the vibe.